not just a master of disguise, but a spirit of transformation. She slips between the cracks of reality. One moment, a beloved friend, the next, a shadowy nightmare. She is the queen of the uncanny and a mistress of metamorphosis. Beware the Great Impersonator.
Did you guys like my new intro? I'm trying out something new. I got a new microphone and I got some new decorations. Let me know how you guys feel about them. We're back, we're better than ever, and we're ready for another headphone emoji video. I'm not sure if you guys have heard, but Halsey came out with a new album called The Great Impersonator. You might have seen promo for it on social media somewhere. I don't know if you guys know, but I've been a Halsey fan since like 2015. Yes, I understand that I was 9 years old, but my camp counselor showed me the album Badlands and I kind of just fell in love ever since then. I've been listening to all of her releases. This is now her 5th studio album that's coming out, and it's crazy to imagine that she's been making music for a decade now. So I've been keeping up with the rollout of this album ever since the summer, and this is something that I really wanted to share with you guys because I found it super interesting and I really hope that you guys do too. Before we get into the video, I just want to say hi, welcome, thank you so much for being here. On this channel, we range from anything from music to social media and anything else that I find interesting. So if you guys seem to have similar interests, remember to stay tuned and maybe even like and subscribe. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I turned my lamp red for this section of the video. We're starting off with her first single. So officially, this era began on June 3rd of this year with her making an Instagram post captioned, "I'm releasing the first song off my 5th album tomorrow, 6:04 at 9 a.m. Pacific time. Before the first single comes, I wanted to share this. It means a lot to me and I love it. Let's try something different and start at the end." The cover art of the single being a big red question mark titled "The End." The next day after the song came out, she made a new post captioned, "Long story short, I'm lucky to be alive. Short story long, I wrote an album. It begins with the end. Out now." Something to note in this post was the caption having Lucky capitalized, which was foreshadowing for the future being her next single named Lucky. Continuing on with this the next day, she made another post which detailed her condition a little bit more. She said, "You've all been so kind and I wanted to share it a bit more. In 2022, I was first diagnosed with lupus SLE and then a rare T-cell lymphoproliferative disorder, both of which are currently being managed or in remission, and both of which I will likely have for the duration of my life. After a rocky start, I slowly got everything under control with the help of amazing doctors. After 2 years, I'm feeling better and more grateful than ever to have music to turn to." The album's release was intended to be the same day as the anniversary of Room 93. It was recorded from 2022 to 2024 when she was struggling with her lupus and T-cell disorder, as well as the birth of her son Ender. Halsey had stated that she believed it would be the last time she would ever make music. Shortly after this, she made a text line available worldwide for all of her fans to text and call her and for her to be able to send more updates about the album. Later that week, on the 11th of that month, she made a new post on her Tumblr account, Tired and Lonely Muse, where she thanked her fans for their support on the platform prior to the release of The End. She says, "I came back to Tumblr when it all went down because I think something special happens here. Like when someone is sitting at the edge of a couch through tears and you say, 'Please don't watch me cry, but please don't leave me alone either.' This is quiet space between screaming observation and lethargic loneliness. It's a shared solitude. It was here that I could tell small fragmented truths of what I was going through in my own Baroque way. Thank you for keeping my secret until I was ready." So Halsey had frequently been using her Tumblr page throughout the time of her being in the hospital and while she was sick, and she continued to use it more throughout this era of her releasing this new album, which I find something to be really cool, as I'd been keeping up with her Tumblr for a while. I don't remember how I found it or when I did, but I'm very glad that I did. I feel like she's always been a Tumblr girl in a way. It all kind of really started in her blue hair Badlands era, where she was really that it girl of Tumblr, and I don't think she ever stopped being that it girl personally, at least to me. She's always had a very specific, I don't know if I would call it an aesthetic, but whatever she emulates is just so unique to her, and I find that so interesting, and I'm so glad that she found a way to show off her own uniqueness throughout this album while also taking a lot of inspiration from a lot of other artists, as For this album, like she said, she thought that it would be her last album, and she wanted to take inspiration from as many artists and emulate as many artists as she could. It was more just for her to really make music one last time. Quick lighting change, we are now pink for our next single, which is Lucky. So a week after the Tumblr post, Halsey's website for mylasttrick.com was updated. There was now a question mark that took you to the original website for her 70s aesthetic of The End, and now there was a star which took you to a new 90s kind of 2000s aesthetic. There was a folder on this site which said Lucky, implying that it would be the next single for her 5th album. There were 2 more symbols on her website that were yet to be unveiled, which we now know been the next singles of the album. As the symbols were yet to be unveiled, many believed it would be different decades, as in like the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, or maybe different eras of her life. Many also speculated it would be 2 different sides that we would see, one of Ashley versus one of Halsey, theorizing that we would get both A2 and H5 as a double album, kind of. I would also just like to say a lot of this video, especially this section, would not have been possible without this website called halseyfan.com. It's a blog. I'm not too sure who it's run by, but it is still active, and I believe it's been active for quite a couple years now, and it archived basically everything that she's done, from posts that she's made to articles she's been in, and it was just super helpful in researching for all of this, especially for the Lucky section, because a lot of that stuff is just gone from all her socials now. On the 20th of the month, she released a teaser clip on Twitter of the song Lucky. It played about 8 seconds of music and was just her with pink hair. A couple days after that, she posted photos on TikTok advertising her single. The photos had a very 2000s feel to them. They were very hot pink, very leopard print, very MySpace era, if I had to put it. I believe this was one of the first TikToks or posts that I saw of her that really made me pay more attention to her rollout of this album, because I had listened to The End when it came out, and I've been paying somewhat attention, at least to her Tumblr, but it was now when I kind of realized that there was like a full-on album happening. She'd also shared posts to her Instagram featuring a paparazzi style of photos of her 2000 style with a lot of hot pink. She was wearing a shirt with a heart on it that said "I'm fine" with a pink leopard print bag, and she sported her neon pink wig. A couple days after that, she posted again on TikTok with a longer preview of her song, including new footage and new lyrics, such as "Everybody get in line to meet the girl who flew too high," and "Did it all to be included, my self-loathing so deep-rooted." As we could tell from this, the themes of this song were very dark, if anything. It had a very happy sound to it, but the lyrics, not so much. Many people at this point had speculated if her song was at all inspired by Britney Spears' song Lucky, which had very similar sounds and lyrics, and was made in that same kind of 2000s era that she's trying to recreate now. She did more promo for this song with more paparazzi's pictures, and one of my favorite bits of promo that she did for this song was when she did little magazine tabloids with the caption "Haven't you heard?" And the tabloids said such things such as "Halsey locked out," "At 29 years old, Halsey the problem child or difficult grown-up," "Why is Halsey losing so much weight?" and a picture of her with like an ankle monitor. Continuing on with this promo, another thing that I really liked was where she did like a Got Milk ad. If you don't know, Got Milk was an advertising campaign that happened mostly in the 2000s and 2010s, I believe, where they wanted Americans to drink more milk and more dairy. So she did an ad for Got Milk, videos of outtakes where the ad itself read, "Got Milk? Halsey knows strawberry is the superior milk flavor. It's pink, just like her hair. She's lactose intolerant, but she's being paid for this ad." On July 1st, Halsey had made a tweet which said, "When I was 5, I always felt like Britney was singing directly to me. 24 years later, these words hit different. I love you forever." Which kind of confirmed everyone's suspicions. Not really suspicions, but she confirmed what everyone was thinking, that the song was heavily inspired by Britney's song. 2 weeks later, she went on to announce the Lucky release date being July 26th. Really funny, literally that day, earlier that day, I had made a tweet which was like, wow, is Halsey ever gonna announce the actual release date of Lucky? And like 30 minutes later, she sent out like a community text being like, "Hey, Lucky's being released." And I was like, oh my gosh, no way. Like, am I psychic? Maybe. The day after that, she went on a tweet spree answering more questions about her album and about Lucky. Some of the important tweets being, give us a hint about Lucky, and she said the music director was gonna make everyone flip out. Someone asked, is this era like Manic and have mixed genres, or will it be more cohesive? Where she answered, it's kind of all over the place. When I started writing it, I thought it might be the last album I ever got the chance to make, so I tried to do whatever I wanted to do, but hadn't tried yet. Someone asked, what decade is this album draw most from? And she just answered yes with a smiley face. Someone else asking, is this album more Ashley or Halsey? Where she said 100% Ashley, fist fighting Halsey, lol. A couple days later, she announced that the Lucky music video would be directed by Gia Coppola. On the release day of Lucky, she went on a tweet spree answering a couple more questions and quotes from other people. Someone asked, how did you come up with the idea of sampling Britney? It just makes so much sense. Where she answered, I remember the first time I heard her singing Lucky, and it hit me at such a young age that I had no idea what her life was really like. And that feeling resonates with me so much still. I found myself singing it when I started treatment, and I just knew I had to do it. Another question about Britney being, what was her reaction when you asked her for the sample? Where she answered, I wrote her the longest, sappiest stan letter of all time, and she was so nice. On August 8th, she performed at a festival in Budapest where she sang Lucky live for the first time, saying, I have a new album coming soon. Nobody knows anything about it, what the vibe is. I did that on purpose, and I want to do this my way. She said this before playing a 30-second snippet of her new song, where she said, for every Halsey pop song, there's a Halsey rock song to match. I like to do both, so I feel like I shouldn't have to choose. She continued this on August 9th, where she performed at another festival in Finland, where she played the second half of her upcoming single, playing the first half the night before. Someone tweeted saying, Halsey, we need the new rock track now, where she replied, which one? We were now entering the 90s era of The Impersonator as she changed her profile picture to a red-haired, grungy look. On August 14th, she played the new song titled Lonely is the Muse before coming on stage and saying that her song was coming out tomorrow night. Later in the set, she performed a new song live called Ego. On release day, we were shown the cover art of the single where Halsey was photographed on top of Victor Noir's grave. The legend of the grave being that women who come into contact with the statue would bring enhanced fertility and a blissful sex life. Lyrically, the song is about the singer questioning her worth and how past lovers had treated her and forgotten her. There's a verse describing that she spent years becoming cool, only for someone to have made a decade of efforts disappear in the snap of her finger. The next day, she went onto her Tumblr to provide the original lyrics of Lonely is the Muse, saying, this is how I originally wrote it. One of those that starts off as a poem but begs to be a song. She posted a fragment of this on her Tumblr a while back, but here's the initial piece in its entirety. I think one part that really stuck out to me in this poem was where she said, but I've aged beyond the angel that you saw inside me then, a grotesque and fading memory trapped underneath a pen. Bro! Her songwriting is just so good. Like, her songwriting, her performance skills, her vocals, like, her artistry, what can she not do? I'm kind of sad that this isn't like the official lyrics because some of these are just so good. Like, since I was just a fragile girl doing my makeup on the floor before a full-length mirror that I bought at some consignment store. Oh, I love her. I love her so much. I love her writing. This is my favorite single, I think. I think this one and Ego are my favorite singles. This one was definitely my first love. It was just, it's so good. And like, honestly, it kind of reminds me of like a Deftones song. Like, not in the way that she's like moaning or anything, but like, just like the way that like it sounds is very like Deftonesy. You guys know what I mean? But like, I wish it got more love than it did because she went right into Ego. Like, there was just no time for the song to like have her moment. I kind of wish that she had left it like not a single and it just like put it on the album because I feel like it would have gotten more love then. Like, because it just sounds so different than like a lot of other music that she makes. Like, it's so good. But yeah, so that's Loneliest to Muse. She took literally 0 breaks between one single and the next. On the 26th of August, For My Last Trick was again updated. There was now a dice icon that had been unveiled. If you were to click on it, there would be a box entitled Fragile, and if you click on the box, there would be a tape called Ego 94, linking you to a snippet of her next song, Ego, which she had performed for the first time on the 14th. The day after that, on the 27th, she revealed the name of her upcoming album, The Great Impersonator, which she called a confessional concept album. The official trailer was released and explained the concept further, teasing some other songs. You can now access it through I Am Halsey or thegreatimpersonator.com. The release date was yet to be announced, though. She captioned the trailer saying, "One of my favorite pre-release moments is the album cover reveal, and as some of you may know, I've had some real fun with this in the past. Next week, the games begin." A couple days later, she announced that her next single, Ego, would be releasing on September 6th. On September 3rd, she announced that the album cover and the release date would be announced tomorrow, and that her fans would reveal the album cover for The Great Impersonator, along with 4 cover variants. She had hidden 5 time capsules of different decades in special locations of London, New York, Toronto, Los Angeles, and Sydney, and each clue would be revealed on Halsey's socials, but they would have to work together in one city to reveal the next. Fans worked quickly on the 4th to work out the location of the time capsule that Halsey had hidden in London, and they had revealed the cover art for The Great Impersonator. She had tweeted saying, "I made this record in a space between life and death. It feels as though I had been waiting an eternity for you to have it. I'll wait a bit longer. I've waited a decade already." Fans continued to go ahead and find the time capsules that Halsey had hidden, the New York one having the 70s cover, the Toronto one having the 80s cover, the LA one having the 90s cover, and the Sydney one having the 2000s cover. On September 11th at the VMAs, she performed Ego with a garage rock band, one of the members being Victoria De Angelis of Måneskin. She also confirmed her engagement with Evangelio, which I think is so cool. On September 25th, she announced the official track list of The Great Impersonator on TikTok and Twitter. She went on to say, "An 18-track album, Nature is Healing," which honestly, she was so right. Someone asked her, "What song are you most excited for everyone to hear?" Where she answered, "Probably Dog Years, Hurt Feelings, Panic Attack, Life of the Spider, and Darwinism, and Only Living Girl in LA." Basically, the whole thing. To kind of begin the end of her rollout in October on the 7th, she announced that for the last 18 days, she would do a countdown where she would impersonate a different icon every day and tease a snippet of the song that they inspired. The first day was Dolly Parton, who inspired track 9, Hometown. Now, I'm not gonna go through every single one of those people because there was quite a lot, but I will say some of my favorites that she did were Kate Bush, Amy Lee of Evanescence, Fiona Apple, and Bjork. So that's kind of everything about the rollout of the album. I tried to cover as much of it as I could. I tried to archive as much of it as I could. I don't know if it was everything, but it was everything that I could find. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys listened to the album. Let me know your thoughts on the album. I have posted all about my thoughts of the album all over my socials, so if you want to see that, you are welcome to follow all of my socials. They're all linked below. I just want to say thank you guys again for watching this video. I really enjoyed making it. I really enjoyed listening to the album and all the singles, and I really enjoyed researching for it. And stay tuned for the next video, I guess. Bye!